Malbec is obviously the star of the Argentinian wines. Why is Malbec so interesting?
I think, well, it's become quite university loved, I think. And the interesting thing about Malbec now is that we can taste the variation in the terroirs through one grape. There are very few places in the world where you can do that. So we can taste high altitude Malbec, lower altitude Malbec, Malbec from the north of Argentina, Malbec from Patagonia, from all these different terroirs, and they express themselves differently. But you still know it's Malbec, and those subtle differences, I think as you become to love wine more and know a little bit more about wine, become more interesting, and perhaps they become a subject of debate, and they get people talking about wine, which I believe is a great thing. So if you love Malbec and you've got a tasting with friends, perhaps if you can ask them to bring a Malbec from a different place, and then you can look at the terroir and think, okay, this is a high altitude vineyard. Why does it have higher acidity? Why does it have a different color? Why is it a little tighter? Why are more winemakers using less oak? It's because they want to express the place. So there's a less is more approach to the winemaking, which means that those terroirs are able to show themselves better through this one grape.
So if you're really interested in Argentinian wine, what should you look out for? What's new?
I think Cabernet Franc, although there is not so much of it as Malbec. In 2002 there were just 200 hectares, there are now over 1,500 hectares. And a good amount of that has been planted in the Uco Valley to the south of Mendoza in the cooler climates. So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. Other great varieties, I think, like Petit Verdot. Of course, there's Torrontés, which is Argentina's own grape variety, which comes under the banner of the Criollo family. That is a family of grape varieties that came about from the crossing of Listan Prieto, which was the first grape to come to the Americas, and Moscatel de Alejandría, and they spawned a family of grape varieties that you will only find in South America that we now call the Criollos. And I think there's a big future for those in Argentina too. So I think also in terms of whites, I think don't discount the whites from Argentina. Of course, we've always known Argentina has been more famous for the reds, but there's been a sort of quiet revolution going on in the way white wines are made. We've got some fantastic Chardonnays from the cooler climates. Semillon, which is a great variety that Argentina used to grow a lot of, is now making a little bit of a comeback. Chenin Blanc also is a great variety that we have still got a significant amount of left, and I think there's a number of young producers who are wanting to bring that back too. So there's a lot of looking back and trying to make wines that their ancestors made. So it's a kind of Argentinian way rather than the French or Italian or Spanish way.
You said that you had a hidden gem in Argentina for people who love Asian food. What's that?
Torrontés. Yeah, Torrontés. I was explaining earlier, if you go to a Thai restaurant and they haven't got a Torrontés on the menu, you need to ask to see the manager.